Hello, everyone. We're here with Raj discussing another weekly meeting with the fellowship from HERDSA. So, Raj, last week we talked about criterion 2, and we discussed that at length. Today we're going to talk about criterion 3, which are the needs of different participants are recognised and they are supported in their learning and development. So, Raj, update me. What have you been doing since our last meeting?
So, hi, Chris. Lovely to see you. And after our last meeting, I spent a lot of time working on the criteria which we discussed. So, I had a chance to work on my criteria 2, which we discussed last time, and I have created an updated draft of it. And I feel much happier with that draft. And it's huge. It's quite different from the first draft which I wrote. And I've also updated the introduction and the context as well in my application. And my plan now is to discuss all these criterias and work on them, and then at the end come back to my teaching philosophy and modify that.
Yeah, that to me that's sort of reverse engineering. It worked for me anyway, because it's a little bit like when you write an abstract for a paper. You don't really know what you've done until you've done it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it does. It does.
All right. Well, let's dive in here. Let me share my screen with you, and we can talk
Yes.
about criteria 3. So let me just pull this up. All right. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it now.
All right, great. So, criterion 3, the needs of different participants are recognized and they are supported in their learning and development. And then there's some basic questions down here. Okay, so the way I understood your situation was that you were talking about the Population Health 302, which is a placement course, and there were two elements to your supporting people through this, through what you do. The first one was actually the videos for the students, and supporting the students and meeting their individual needs. Right, that was
Hmm.
the way I came away with it. And the second one was actually talking with the employers. So
Yes.
so I'm just highlighting something down here. You can say I pay individual visits to placement supervisors. Sorry, placement
Hmm.
supervisors about their roles and responsibilities.
Hmm.
So if I can just go back to stop sharing that for a while, the message that I got when I was reading the first bit was sort of a two-pronged kind of situation here. One was the students, and you kind of met their individual needs, at least in some sense, through the videos that you do, which I thought was great. And the second one was meeting the supervisors and sort of meeting their individual needs. So I thought that was really interesting. Um, if I had a couple of suggestions, I probably would have made more of the videos that you do. So how does that kind of personalize support and things like that?
Hmm.
So let me just share the screen again, and I'll. So for example, where are we? So you've mentioned some Kearns and Gardner there, and Kolb with individual learning styles, and you talk about expectations, which is interesting too. I thought you could make a little bit more out of that, maybe. Um, Also really important to time management, communication skills, seminars. Yeah, here we go. Time. I'm just trying to find it.
Hmm.
Control find video. Yeah, here we go. So videos of past student journey and recommendations. I thought that was great. And in that, you can even talk about how the format of videos can be personalized. Does that make sense, Raj? So,
Um,
so when I say that, I'm sort of thinking, okay, the format of video is highly personal. and
Mhm.
personalized. Do you know what I mean? So students can pause it, they can fast forward it, they can rewind it, they can watch it on their mobile devices, they can watch it at a time and location that suits them. It's a very rich form of media. All these sorts of things allow the students to really take control and personalize what they do. So I thought
Mhm.
that was interesting. Um,
Mhm.
and then the second one was about the. Let me just share this again with you. And the second one was about paying individual visits to the placement supervisors. Can you see that on the screen,
Mhm.
Raj?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so so the first thing that went through my mind when I read that was, oh my goodness, that's a lot of work, right? So um, the next question was, what about um, scale? How do you scale something like that? So obviously you can't go to every, let's say you had 400 students and they had 400 different supervisors, right? There's no way that you could do that. And then in the next part of the application, I thought, oh, great, you're building this online tool for supervisors. Okay, so what you haven't, what I don't think you haven't done in the first part is bring that out. Say, there's a challenge of scale here, and um, and then that would lead in nicely to the online thing that you're working on for the supervisors, because that's a brilliant idea. That sort of takes the pressure off you. How do you sound? How do you feel about that?
No, that's absolutely correct, and that's the whole story. Basically, this course
Yeah.
is changing drastically from 2015 to now. It used to be optional course where we had only 30 to 35 students, and those students they must have a certain class GPA, so they were all super motivated students. However, now it's a core paper; everyone must do it, and it's there
Mm,
available on both the semesters. So that means we have got more students, we need more placement, more supervisor, which also means that the more chances of things going wrong,
yeah.
through email communications and things like that. And so we initially we thought, okay, let's try and visit as many people as possible, but that's not sustainable with time. And
Yep.
hence it was important to develop these online modules for the placement supervisors, which is completed, and which we're trying it out in this semester.
So Raj, there's your story right there. So to me, you've just basically explained the whole, almost all of the story for this part, because you're personalizing the learning of the students almost through their supervisors, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yes.
So that's it. All you got to do is go away and show that there's a need that exists, and show how that's motivating you to to do these things. So I think you've really got a good grasp on this.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so let's move over to the future specific development. So let me just share my screen again with
Do
you.
you want to talk anything about reflection and learning?
Yep. Oh, sorry. Oh, did I miss that one out? Oh, the reflection learning. Yeah. Sorry. Let me do that. All right. So let me just go back up here. Okay. So reflection and learning. All right. So with these ones, I think it's always a good idea to start with some reflective kind of opening. So
Mhm.
when I reflect back on my practice, or if I look back, I've learnt the following. Something like that, to just emphasize that you are actually reflecting. Do you know what I mean? When
Mhm.
I look back, I've learned A, B, and C. Okay,
Mhm.
so um, let me just have a look here. Yep, that's good. I'm just highlighting something now.
Yes.
Considering the uniqueness is very relevant here. Okay, considering the unique journey of each student, providing filters of support before and during the placement, internally and externally, is crucial. Yep. So you could say that if you wanted to expand on that, you could say, I've come to, looking back, I've come to know this through my own practice, or something like that.
Mhm.
Even backing it up with some of the literature.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I think also what's good to do in the reflection and learning is actually set up what you're going to do in
Mhm.
the future specific development. So, you might even want to say, looking back, unique journey is important. With the growth of this course, scale is an issue. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? And then
Mm.
in that then leads into the future specific development, where it says, you know, the videos are designed to be scalable resources to to personalize learning and recognize the needs of different participants, including supervisors
Mhm.
and students. Does that
Mhm.
does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think the story is quite strong here, which is good. It's just actually writing it up. So
Yes.
let me stop sharing. Oh, so Raj, how do you feel about that? I mean, I think that what you're doing is clear. The need and the challenge is scale, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
personalization. And the way that you're tackling that is
Mhm.
through online video, which can be personalized and scaled. And,
Yeah.
and it's a supportive resource for both supervisors and students.
That's correct. Yep. So I think, Chris, that's why I really love our these meetings, because sometimes you sort of know the story, you know what you're doing, but you are not quite 100% certain about how exactly you should be doing it, and that's why this rough first draft is so helpful. And when we
Mm,
discuss these things, it sort of gives me a very clear picture that now I after this discussion I can straight away go back and I can actually rewrite this whole thing, and I'm
yeah.
sure that version will be better than this one for sure.
For sure, and I can see that. I can see that in Criterion 2, which you sent me, I think, this morning.
Yes.
I can see that you've really sort of gone back and thought about it a bit more and sort of changed a few things here and there, and I think it's a lot better.
Hmm.
But it is like hard, I think, just as a human to sort of like most people love talking about themselves, right? But it's hard to sometimes get that down on paper. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And tell your own
Yeah.
story, and that's why I
So
think
true.
a second pair of eyes and a second brain and whatnot can be useful. So I'm glad it's useful, Raj. I'm glad it's
Thank you.
useful.
Thank you.
Um, okay. So were there any other comments or questions or um, observations or anything like that you wanted to
Yeah.
discuss?
Yeah. The quick question here is, my story is basically that, okay, I will be um, I will be developing videos for the staff, but because of course I wrote this in December last year, and at that stage I was in the process of designing these videos.
Yep.
Now I have already developed these videos and I have already integrated them in semester one.
Hmm.
So in the future specific development, should I still write the story which was there around December, or should I talk about, okay, I've already done this, because then it'll be about, okay, what next, by
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, that's a good question because the timeline for this HERDSA fellowship is like 2 years, right? So
Yeah.
you can do a lot in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think maybe. Oh, sorry. I think it's hard to know. You could say that in the future you want to test. Let's say you did say, oh, let's say you said, oh, look, I've done these videos and I've rolled them out, right?
Mhm.
In the future, it might be interesting to test to see
Mhm.
what the reactions are or the benefits or the perceived benefits um,
Mhm.
of these resources. Um, yeah, I mean
Will
the
it?
thing is,
Will it?
if you've already done it, Raj, you could actually put that into the description and outcomes because
Yeah.
you've kind of done it, and your reflection and learning would be, well, I've done it, but it's too early to really tell what I've done. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yes.
sort of the story's kind of changing now, and that
Yeah.
then would set up the future specific development of, well, I want to find out what it's done, how it's
Mhm.
done, and what that. There's a couple of stories you can tell here. I think I think it would be okay to write it it still was in December, but it just depends
Yeah.
what you want to do. It's up to you at the end of the day.
Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted to know, because I think the current story looks really good.
Mm.
It flows that, I'm supporting the students, and then the next side is I want to support the supervisors, and that's why I want to develop the video. I got the grant, and the plan is to then roll out these videos. That could be the story for this criteria. Maybe future in any of the other criteria, if we discuss, and if it is needed to bring this there, like the videos are already being developed, then maybe we can bring it there.
Yeah,
Will that
for
be
sure.
okay?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. That was
Because
the
I
only
mean, I know,
question.
I
Yeah.
know in mine, I'd done stuff from a couple of years ago, and work was still going on, but I'm like, look, I just got to draw the line in the sand and say, look, that's it. That's what I'm going to write about, and I won't worry about what's happening right now.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep. And in case if some of the staff, some of the supervisors are sending me some emails saying that, hey, your videos were really helpful, we got this, got that. Is it okay for the future specific development? I sort of say that it's still early days, but this is the sort of trend which I'm observing, and it'll be really helpful to eventually test the benefits
Yes.
at a larger scale.
Yes, that's perfect. So what you can
Okay.
say is, we have sort of a rough proof of concept here, but
Mhm.
I'm interested in doing this in a deeper and wider way,
Mhm.
um, and that's what I would plan to do. I think that's great. So you can even say I'm motivated by those or inspired by the initial feedback. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
All right. All right. So anything else, Raj? Because we can probably
Oh,
go back into the green room for a little while
yes,
if you
let's do
want.
that. Let's do
All
that.
right. Well,
Chris,
look,
thank you so much.
fabulous discussion. Yep.
It was really, really very helpful, and I think I really, really enjoyed this very brief discussion with you on these criteria, because I then see these criteria in a totally different light altogether,
Mm,
and in
mm,
my mind they appear so clear to me, which is really good. Then you can
mm.
go back and rewrite them. So thank you so much for that, Chris. Appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. My pleasure, Raj. And I'm glad these are helping. And I just think it's great that we're getting to work together and move this forward. So thank you and get well soon. I hope your back and your thumb, etc., gets well
Yeah.
soon. But I'll give you 2 thumbs up. Okay, 2 thumbs up for
Okay.
good health.
Thank
And
you.
we'll sign off, and I'll see you in the green room in a minute. Okay.
See ya, Chris.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.